Hi guys, I'm at the well in Wilmette. And I'm here with the beautiful Jenniffer Weigel, and our talk went so great last time when we got together. We're doing it again, and I don't think you're going to be disappointed. So stay tuned. Love you all, as always. Bye-bye.
How old were you when you knew you had this GPS?
6.
6. Tell us what happened.
Well, I always say this, so people that hear me, I'm sorry I'm repeating this again, but, my grandfather had passed away, and my mother didn't think that my 2 brothers and I should go because she just thought we were too young. She thought maybe we would be traumatized by it. So I was 6, I had a brother who was 5 and another brother who was 4. And so we didn't get to go out of all the grandchildren. And my mother took it quite hard. It was on December 15th.
That he passed or that you didn't?
That he passed. And it was interesting because I remember the whole house was decorated for Christmas, the tree and everything. And my mother took it so hard that she actually took down everything.
Oh my God.
Think about it now for a child to see that, And I thought, okay, and I remember one of my brothers saying, "Mom, why are you taking down the Christmas tree?" And she goes, "I don't want it."
Right.
We were kids, so we didn't buck her. So, anyway, so days after, she was on top of this chair on a cabinet, and she's looking at something in a white envelope. And I remember coming up to her and I said, "Mom, what are you looking at?" She goes, "They're not for your eyes to see." And I just kind of waited, and I just looked at her, and of course my mother goes down and she puts the chair, and she leaves. So of course a 6-year-old child is going to do what? Go, yeah. So I did. I went, and I remember climbing on the chair, and I was so young. I'm climbing on the shelf, so I couldn't get up there. So when I got up there, I saw these pictures in the envelope, and it was a picture of my grandfather lying in the casket, and he looked very peaceful. I gotta say this. He didn't look scary. He looked beautiful, like he was sleeping, and he had the blue suit on, and he had all these beautiful, beautiful flowers. And I thought to myself, that's so odd. Now, why would he be in there when he's here, right in front of me? Okay? So, interesting enough, before that time, I did not know the difference between afterlife and present. Mm-hmm. Now, this is why I'm a big advocate for children. I would rather take a child than a grown adult. No offense to anybody here. But I love children because they're so pure. And I'm big on always trying to educate people by saying, when your child or your grandchildren, and they have a sixth sense or they see something, please honor it. Because I always say, animals, small children, they're the purest. When you have a little baby that's born, this is why I do this a lot with mothers that are giving up their children for adoption. I do a lot of speaking engagements with this. First thing I always say is no matter how hard it is to give up your child, and whatever reason it is, because there's no judging and nobody should judge you for that. But the first thing you need to do is you need to see your baby. A lot of mothers don't want to see it because it's very, very hard for them, and I get it. But here's where it gets a little tricky. You need to see the baby. You need to hold the baby. You need to have a conversation with your new life. And you need to tell the baby why you are doing this. Now you're going to say, "Are you kidding?" I'm not. That little soul that's minutes old is probably maybe 75 years old from the previous life it came from. So you stay with me on this because they understand what's really going on. You have to make your closure with this little child. Now, I always have a lot of adopted adults, kids, and I can always tell which parent was able to say goodbye and do their closure versus the parent that didn't. Because the person that didn't have their natural biological parents say why they had to do it, they are constantly stuck and struggling. So there is a lot to the soul, but there's a lot of the connection to the child. So this is very, very important.
So that's an interesting point. So somebody can be going through their life and they're stumbling, and it's because they didn't have that kind of closure, but that can relate to a lot of things in life, right? You didn't have that conversation with your dad, or you didn't have it out with your brother, or you didn't, tell your 3rd grade teacher how you really feel, or whatever. I believe, after all the research I've been doing on this, and I've been interviewing people like Susan now for about almost 20 years, that if we don't face those things that make our stomach go, ooh, like I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to deal with that. If we don't face it, it will show up in a different costume. Over and over and over again until we do face it. And if we don't have those difficult conversations, you can't just ghost your problems.
No.
A lot of people think that they can. And I'm not going to deal with that. I'm just going to put that in that shelf. I'm going to shut that drawer. And I'm not going to look at it. But you have to deal with it.
Exactly.
And here's another thing that I've recently learned. And a gentleman might be joining us later that I've recently met who's a gentleman who was struck by lightning. And now he's a healer.
Nice.
I meet all these cool people, right?
Yeah.
And so, and he's like, hey, how's it going? And he's like, wears overalls, and he's from Rogers Park, and he's just salt of the earth. But he says that the people that give us the biggest conflict in our life, it's because the roles were reversed. Mm-hmm. You can't go into victim mode and be mad at them because they ripped you off. You ripped them off. If this is happening, 100%, he says, what he can see now, and believe me, he's been shocked out of his body and went back into it. The roles were reversed. Maybe not once, maybe 50 times. You guys have been playing this tap dance back and forth, okay? So if you can get out of micro and get into macro, that is the most important thing I want to leave you with today. Get out of that victim, this is the only life I have, and all these challenges that I have, they suck, and I feel like shit about it, and I wish this wasn't happening, and da-da-da. No. Get macro about it and trust that you have been on the other end of that spectrum. You were not the angel, you were the criminal. You were not the victim. You were the person who was prosecuting, right? Mm-hmm. You weren't prosecuted. So we've all been good and we've all been bad. We've had our share. Would you believe this too?
Absolutely, because you know what? It's a circle. A circle of souls.
Okay.
Not a circle of life. Mm-hmm. You can say circle of lives, but circle of souls. Mm-hmm. The soul is constant, right. Okay? We just keep coming back in new bodies, as you call them, recycled bodies, okay? Mm-hmm. But yeah, we do. When I say this, here's the goal, because so many people will come to me and they'll say, how's my mom doing? How's my dad doing? Are they happy? What are they doing? Mm-hmm. And a lot of times I'll say, first of all, every person that comes into this life or the next life, everybody's at a different level. You're not the same level as your child and your husband and your brother and your sister. You are coming for your own merit to what you need to experience, okay? So the first thing I always say, you have to go through everything. So are you the abuser? Are you the abusee? Are you a male? Many times I'll say to women, you have a very male spirit. And I said, you look beautiful, feminine. It has nothing to do with your gender. You have been more male because the soul is both, male and female. And it's free will. You get to choose even upon coming. You get the choice if you're coming in a male body or a female body. Make that perfectly clear. You have full choice. So when I say this, you get to choose on every aspect. But you also choose the gender, the color, the richness, the poverty-stricken,
the parents.
The parents. Parents have to sign on just like the kids. The way your son signed on in a pre-birth assignment with no memory, mm-hmm. he agreed to be your son, just like you agreed to be his mother. Oh yeah, and it's true. Right. It's a beautiful thing. Now sometimes people will counter it with me and they'll say, I picked my father, I can't stand my father, he abused me. Let's talk about that for a minute. Why are we stuck with really dysfunctional people? Mm-hmm. Well, it could be for your soul growth, but maybe you are the divine sacrifice that signed up in this lifetime for them to stand up to the plate. Mm-hmm. Okay, think about that.
And because of free will, they might or might not face the challenge.
But here's the thing. Mm-hmm. Now here's something, I love that, what you mm-hmm. just said. They may not face the challenge. So what do you do when they don't? Your soul contract is done with them. Mm-hmm. Understand that. Many times I have a lot of battered adults from what their parents did to them. Mm-hmm. And when I explain why, and then I say to them, okay, they'll say to me, Susan, how do I keep being strong? I said, first of all, soul contract's done. But what you need to understand is maybe you didn't have choice as a child in this life. You had to take what your parents gave you and threw at you. So get a picture of yourself when you were a child and learn to take care of your inner child. So, we love to take care of so many people. And usually people that love to take care of other people, they're the ones that are constantly needing that healing.
Right.
Think about that.
They're empaths too.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
It gets their mind off of them, but subconsciously when they're helping somebody else, they are healing internally in such a way that they can deal with it on the right way for them that they can handle.
But if you don't tune into what you think you need. You have to reach outside of yourself always for guidance in everything you do. That is the rub, right? That is where, but then again, we need someone to tell us when we have basil in our teeth. We can't see everything, right? Mm-hmm. So we need a guidance of somebody who has an expertise that we don't have. We need somebody that can tune in a way that we cannot. And I believe I go get an alignment. I get chiropractic work. I do work with someone like Susan. I have energetic work. I do acupuncture. All of these things. It's the ultimate combo platter because we aren't just this physical body. We're a spiritual body. And the reason I burnt the sage was because, Susan's been a big advocate of this, but we have to clear our space. Absolutely. If you have negative people around you or you have a big blowout fight, if you don't burn some sage afterwards, the energy of that fight will stay in the space and therefore attract more fights. Mm-hmm. Seriously. Whatever you put the energy in is going to manifest bigger. Right. If you put energy into being happy or, biggest thing is not everybody, I'm not going to say everybody, but most people, they always worry about their finances. I'll give something very easy. Right. And they do. And easier said than done. Don't worry about it. Money's going to come. But you have to kind of redirect your thoughts. Mm-hmm. If you're constantly thinking, oh my God, I'm afraid to go to the mailbox. I'm going to get more bills. Mm-hmm. Well, what you need to start saying is, no, I'm going to get more of the good coming to me. Because it's really interesting. You're planting seeds in universe. Universe listens. Mm-hmm. And they listen to our thoughts and they listen to our words. So even if you're not saying them and they're not touching your tongue, they hear everything. So your thoughts are huge, and they're going to facilitate our next actions that come to us. Mm-hmm. Okay? Right. Seriously, they just. But also, the warning of that is that not every vision board is going to create that vacation home. Okay. No. You can't just put a vision board together and think you're going to get the diamond necklace and the fabulous vacation home. You're right on that, but here's what I'm. Okay. All right. I like what you just said because I like vision boards, but I don't. Right. Do you think I really listen to a vision board? No, but some people do. They're like praying at their vision board and they don't get the mobile phone. They put a lotto ticket and they actually think they're going to win the lotto. Exactly. Right. And people will say, Susan, am I going to win the lotto? And I'm like, oh God, really? You're asking me this? But what you really need to do, you need to shift your thoughts. Things that make you happy. Well, abundance. But this is it. But you know what? It could even be abundance through people. Right. I really think, too, you have to choose who you surround yourself with. That really makes or breaks us. I say this every single day. I believe in it. Mm-hmm. Now, if you're going to surround yourself with the right person that can actually ignite something in a positive way, think of how much it's going to carry. Mm-hmm. Think about that for a minute. Now, people always say to me, yeah, but I've got my mother and she's negative and she lives with me and, how do I deal with that? Well, again, it's choice. You've got other brothers and sisters. They all need to step up, and you know what? But if you're the divine savior, you've already done that. I always say people that love to do that, they were definitely soldiers in combat in another lifetime. I was a soldier a lot of times. Yeah. Go ahead and pull some chairs up, Amy, Grace. Yeah. Whatever you need to do. So that's a big thing to me, because when I see somebody who really is so unselfish and just constantly is the divine cleaner, they were definitely the warrior in other lifetimes. Right. And not just one lifetime. Repeatedly. Mm-hmm. So what are they here to learn? Usually it's their limits and their balances to when to say no, when to say I've had enough. That does not constitute selfishness. That constitutes love for thyself. Right. So self-love is not selfish, it's self-first. It's putting on your oxygen mask before the plane goes down so you can help your small child. So true. And if you don't do these little things to yourself first, I've got an example of a dinner I'm supposed to go to with some very toxic people. I'm going to opt out, and it's going to cause a ripple effect of disappointment. But I'm pulling an oxygen mask. Good. I don't want to put myself around toxic people. No. And so that is why I can't pretend everything's great and smile and tap dance my way through it. We do that all the time. How many times do we do that, right? We try to be polite. So we just try to be polite, but then in the end, we're depleted. Oh, yeah. Our gas tank goes on red and then we fill it up right away. But we are on fumes all the time and we don't do a damn thing about it. So it's time to put on your oxygen mask. It's time to fill yourself up. Doing things like this is helpful with that. Welcome, come on in. So I think if we put on our own oxygen masks on occasion, it's not narcissistic. I think that's the rub, is that people feel like if they do a little something for themselves, it's narcissism, but it's really not. It's absolute protection. And it will help fuel you for the bigger haul, because more important things are coming. But think about this too. Think about everything you surround yourself with. Now think about all the negative things that you're around.
You may not be negative, but think of all the negative things. Think about all the negative conditioning you're doing to yourself. Subconsciously, you don't even realize it. Okay?
Give me an example.
Well, for instance, if you're in a bad job that you can't stand, or you're not living your passion, or you can't stand your coworkers, and you've done everything but exhausted every possibility, it's not going to get better. But you still choose to be in there because you're too afraid to take the risk to see what else is out there. You're going to constantly, your fuel, that empty gauge, as you say, you're slowly dying. Your spirit is slowly dying. Okay, so if you're going to still stay in it, you're going to get more negative.
More negative.
You're going to get more disheartful things. You're going to get, then all of a sudden what's going to happen is now you don't like your job, but then it's going to be a trickle-down effect. It's not just going to be with the job. It's going to be other things because you're surrounding yourself with misery. Misery is a big thing. It's huge.
So many people, I think, though, Susan, are more comfortable in misery because it's the familiar vibration. I remember Carolyn Mace told me that great author and teacher, Anatomy of the Spirit was her first bestseller that came out 20 years ago. She wrote Sacred Contracts, Defying Gravity. She's a medical intuitive, and Mace is spelled M-Y-S-S. And she says when she does a workshop, this woman had arthritis, right? And she left the workshop with no arthritis. Her hands had been like this, and she was like, she got the flow going. She had all this positive energy. It was like her mentality had shifted. In the 4-hour workshop, she was boom, right? What happens? She goes home. A spouse who doesn't believe in this stuff knocks it down, within hours, arthritis is back, right?
Yeah.
So the vibration of healing, she says, is a lot harder to sustain because the negative groove is the familiar path, right? It's where our cars are naturally in the highway. And we think that our surroundings aren't going to keep us there, but we really are going with what's familiar. It is a constant spiritual battle to stay higher. You have to do your saging, your cleansing, right? You have to raise your vibration with beautiful music. You have to raise your vibration with beautiful thoughts like you're talking about and really feel it in your heart. Don't just say it. Like, for me, it takes me about 5 minutes of saying some sort of mantra before it actually clicks in. Because I could say it and we can all say, love, light, beautiful, blah, blah, blah. But until you feel it in your resonance, I'll give an example. This just happened to me yesterday. I was having a really bad couple of hours, and I was like, I gotta raise my vibration. So I went for a walk, and I said, thank you for the whole walk, with each step. Thank you, thank you, thank you. The first 3 minutes, I was like, this is so stupid. And then after 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, I felt like a different person, just from bringing in gratitude with a walk. That's it. It's that simple, guys. 2 words for a few minutes can change your whole vibration. And I bet if somebody had muscle tested me, I would have gone from like super weak when I started to nice and strong when I finished. Because I got outside and it was just a different thing. So we don't take care of our vibration, and we don't know how much the outside forces are depleting our vibration.
I don't sometimes think also that people are strong enough to change. They will find more excuses not to change than to change.
Right.
If they have to change, that means they have to actually do the work in doing it. And it's scary for them.
Well, it's scary, and it also feels weird because if you're comfortable in the chaos, another example, if you grew up in a chaotic childhood, right? A lot of times you'll start fights in your life because that's a familiar vibration.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's like, wait a second, things are a little too calm here in the suburbs. Let's throw a grenade into the room and run out. And that is unfortunate, but it's all matching the vibration that we're used to.
Yeah.
So if we take off that robe and we put it away and we say, I'm going to sit here in this light for a while and see how it feels, get used to that.
I think even when you pray, and the first thing I always say to people, when you pray, you really need to get acquainted with God. Don't dictate your prayers to what you need. And you can talk to God through it. But I also think that if you talk to God and whatever it is you want to talk about, pay attention to what the message is God gives you back. Now, I'll have a handful of people that'll say, I hear God, and they'll tell me. Or, I pray, but I don't get anything. I prayed for this and I prayed for that, and I don't think God's listening. I go, God's listening. He's telling you no. You got your answer. You got no, because it's not your time to get this, what you're asking. And I always say timing is very crucial to the success of every outcome. But I believe that when you pray and you're spiritual, it's amazing if you listen, and you don't have to really listen hard. If you just free yourself, you're going to be really surprised at the messages that you get. So I always tell people, when you pray, please try to get acquainted to God, to your angels, to your spirit guides, to your runners. pray to them, but also listen to what is coming through.
Explain what you believe a runner to be.
A runner are angels. It's an angel network, and they run to get. When I was a little girl, a bunch of angels used to come around me all the time, and I used to see them. And I remember asking them, why do you always run? They said, we run to get whatever you need. We are blessing you. And I was like in awe over this. And I said, really? And one of the angels, and it's funny because I have male angels, but I have a lot of abundance of female angels. Mm-hmm. It's really interesting. And I remember my female angel, she says, you have to believe, but don't question. Mm-hmm. And I said, okay, I won't. She goes, you can't do that. And I said, okay, I won't. So I started to, whenever I lose an article and I need to find it, they actually direct me to it. It could be as simple as a parking space. It could be, finding the right person that comes in your life, finding the right job, finding a way for my body not to hurt. It was interesting. A month ago, I started to have symptoms in my back and on my fingertips, and it felt like flutters of pain, okay? And I started to do some research, and they said it could be MS, and it could be fibromyalgia, and it really hurt. Mm-hmm. And it was very interesting. So I'm a big shower girl. I do a lot of I pray throughout the day. I pray before client and after client leaves me. But I start the day with prayer because I think that is a great way to start your day, with enlightenment of positive energy and love and strength, because we all need it. But I started to pray about my body, and I really asked to be healed. And I didn't do anything different. I wasn't eating different. I didn't have anything injected different. And it was really interesting. They came to me and they rescued me. Mm-hmm. They rescued my pain. Mm-hmm. And it's very interesting. But here's the thing. When I ask for something, I believe, but I release because I put it in their hands.
Right.
Many times we try to micromanage, and you can't do that. Throw out, I always say this, throw out the when, the how, it doesn't matter. You may not even have money or a great job now, but that doesn't constitute later that you won't have it. But if you keep saying, I'm waiting, I've been good, it's not happening, guess what? You're going to do more waiting, because universe, it's interesting. Universe wants to see if you're ready. Now, if you're going to constantly doubt and wonder and challenge it, they're going to say, well, Jen's not ready yet. We've got to take a step back.
Right, well, the vibration of I want and I need is you're just going to be delivered more want and more need, because you keep saying, I want a better job, I need a boyfriend, I want a raise. So that's what you're putting out. They're just going, okay, we're just giving you what you ordered.
But you have to believe that it's going to come.
Right.
Freely.
Right, but thank you in advance.
Part.
Thank you in advance for the job where I'm valued, and thank you in advance for the partner that understands me. I mean, if you don't have these things, that, like you said, that it's not divine timing.
No.
And so you've got the runners, you think, that are out running and getting you things.
They do, but you always, and I always say this, when I bring everybody to my table in the shower, literally. I bring everybody to the table. And the first thing I always start out with is I thank them for everything that they do. I ask them what I need to work through. And it's interesting because I always say, please God, bless the runners' spirit and souls. I will ask for everybody that I'm asking to come and help me. I ask God to bless their spirit and souls. Mm-hmm. It's very interesting because you have to give back to them. Look what they give to us.
Right.
Okay, so you need to pray for their spirit and their souls to be enlightened just as much. And this is how they get strengthened, and this is how they can continue. And I always say, angels, it's like Santa Claus with the elves. Okay, that's what the angels are. They're extensions of God. So I truly believe in all of that, but you should pray and say thankful and be thankful to what they're doing, but also pray for their spirit and souls for them to thrive. Not just the people, not just people that have passed.
I was going to say, so angels, it's important to pray for them, but everything that's on the other side. So our loved ones that are on the other side.
I do that all the time.
We have to pray for their involvement and our ancestral line and people that we've never met. And this morning Susan told me that she, today is the birthday, it would have been the 71st birthday of my father, who passed away 17 years ago. And Susan tells me this morning, oh my gosh, I woke up and your father came to me. You still have a sleepy voice too. You were like, I woke up and your father. And I'm like, oh, really sorry.
No,
and she's like, no. He said he was with Minnie.
says,
now
"Who's
I'm like,
Minnie?"
who the heck is Minnie? And I spaced out on it. My cousin's back there. Minnie was John's mom, Grandpa John's mom, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought. So this is a great grandma. I've never met Minnie, but I remembered the name. I was like, wow, he's hanging with Minnie. That's kind of wow.
And he was happy.
Okay, well that's
and
cool.
he was happy. And I said to her, you know, I saw him like in the 70s.
Yeah.
It seems to be the era that your father really enjoyed. And he had that short sleeve shirt, blue and white, kind of looked like a Hawaiian shirt. I mean, he was really good looking guy and happy and happy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if I could tell you anything about your father, is the ecstasy of peace that was on his face.
Mm-hmm.
And I just looked at him and I knew. I says, oh, he goes, tell my daughter I'm with Minnie.
Okay.
She'll know. He goes to me, she'll know. I said, okay.
Well, she didn't.
But you
she
did.
figured it out.
You figured it out, so I'm proud of you.
Right,
Because I had no idea who
Right.
he was.
That's so funny. Well, okay, so let's go back to the runners for a second. Because
Sure.
I think you're planting seeds in people where they're
Good.
thinking, okay, cool, I want
I
to order
want them
this
to.
and I want to order
No,
that.
no.
And in high school, I kept ordering Doug to ask me to prom, and that didn't happen. So it's not that they were asleep at the wheel. What it is that sometimes that's not for our highest good.
No.
So I tell people that
How
we should
about-
pray for what's for our highest good.
How about praying for direction?
Okay, for direction.
I do, every day.
Okay, yeah, show me
Okay.
where to go.
How
Next
about
steps.
praying to lead us to the people that we need? You know, I always say, you pray for healthy love in all that surrounds us, both personally and professionally. Now you're covering the whole basis of everyone coming into your life. You're getting rid of the toxic, you're putting it out there, but now you've just enforced universe to even help you in a healthy way. So when you start doing that, more of that is going to come to you in such, and really, I every day I pray for this. I pray for connections.
Right.
I pray for the messages that I can help people with, and let me give that to them. But and I pray that, you know what, I don't pray for stuff. I pray to just keep moving.
Right.
Okay? Let me be healthy enough to enjoy it. To enjoy my life, to enjoy what I keep doing. You know, people say, when are you going to retire, Susan? Because I'm 55 years old. I go, until I drop dead. Because seriously, for me, I'm not against retirement.
Right.
But you know, I always say, when you just stop, everything else stops.
Right, just keep moving. All right, so then who do you go to? Because there are some people that might believe that pain you were feeling could have been an attachment. It could have been something off this planet. It could have been lots of things. So who cleans you?
It's a great question. I have a number of things, a number of people that clean me. I have a woman. I know, and I don't have the information. I should have brought it today. But anyway, she does a Japanese type clearing. And what I loved about her, I did an expo center one year, and I had these sunflowers on my table. It's really interesting. So she comes over. Now we're about to start in maybe 10, 15 minutes. The expo show. Okay. And she comes over and she says, oh, I love your sunflowers. I says, oh, thank you. And she says, may I give you God's light? And I says, God's light? And she says, would you like to receive God's light? And I said, why not?
Right?
Okay.
Who says no to that?
Right now. But I'm thinking 10 o'clock, 10 more minutes.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, all right.
How long is it going to take?
I didn't know. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting enough.
Right.
Yeah, a true story now. Interesting. I go to her booth, which was right next to me. And I sat down in these chairs and I'm facing her like this, okay? Now she says to me, I want you to close your eyes and do not open them until I tell you. I says, okay. So now all of a sudden she starts chanting and it sounds like she's a female auctioneer. Here's all my this. I'm like, I'm listening to her. and she's going on, and then all of a sudden after about 2 minutes, it's quietness. Whatever she was doing, now I have my eyes closed because she told me to do that, so I did it. I started to get the worst migraine.
Oh no.
And here's what I'm thinking. Are you kidding me? I've got to read people till 7 o'clock tonight. I can't have a migraine.
Right.
Did I bring my Excedrin? I'm thinking this, right?
Right.
Okay, so all of a sudden now, massive pain in my head, and I'm still doing this, and she's doing what she's doing, and I see mud, I see sand, I see strong winds, and it looked pretty dark. And then to water, and I see this beautiful bridge, and on the other side of the bridge is the Blessed Mother. I'm like, oh my God. And I could feel her. Now I'm seeing all of this with my eyes closed.
Get some chairs, guys.
And I'm seeing all of this, and I'm thinking, oh my God, now the bridge looks very weak. And she wants me to come over the bridge. And I'm looking at the bridge, and I see the darkness, but then I see the beauty. And I thought to myself, I'm going to go, and she went like this. Okay, so I thought, I'm going.
Right.
And I went, and all of a sudden, it was like the Wizard of Oz. Everything turned beautiful. Everything turned light, okay? Now, interesting enough, I felt everything from the bottom of my feet, like a tornado zooming around me, and it was coming through my legs, up in my body, and out through my head. As soon as it came out, this pressure, the headache was gone immediately, and I felt like I hadn't felt this great, I can't even tell you how many years, okay? So now she says, okay, you may open up your eyes. She says, thank you for receiving God's light. And I felt like a little hypnotized, like I woke up from a very deep sleep. And then I proceeded to go next to my booth, and I never felt this beauty and peace within myself. Well, it stayed with me. The next day I said, Rosemary, what did you do to me? I have never felt a release like this in my life. She says, well, here's our literature. She says, but the goal is when you come into this world, you come pure. And as time goes by, we become tainted with life, with experience. So my job is to get you as close to purity to when you came into this world. I said, oh my God. So about once a month, I go to her, and she works on me. Now, interesting enough, every time she works on me, I get new visions. I knew who my animal spirit guides were.
Animal spirit guides. Now we're going to the animals. Who are they? What do you got?
Everybody's got different ones.
Okay.
I have elephants, baby elephants, and I have female elephants, and I have female lion.
Wow.
Okay, very interesting. And they're always in twos, and they're around me like crazy.
Okay, so tell me how elephants and lions, I'm sorry to laugh, but like they're not going to cross Green Bay Road. So how do they come into your life? How do they come into your life in twos?
Well, I truly believe that we're not just blessed and gifted with our human spirit guides.
Right.
Okay, I call, different things incorporeal beings.
Right. And can they change over time? Like
Absolutely.
cardinals were mine, and now it seems to be like birds, or like hawks, or I don't know.
Yeah, because maybe the strength, and then they're zooming and they're watching over you in a bigger, scope. But yeah, animals are huge in that. So everybody's got that. So sometimes our animal spirit guides will come in a dream. I tell people a lot, please pay attention to your dreams.
Okay, I had a dream last night that I was in Paris. I was having a blast.
Good.
Gigi, I was in Paris in my dream. This is Gigi, by the way.
Where's Gigi?
Gigi, raise your hand.
Gigi, how are you? So nice to meet you.
So Gigi Belser is the healer's healer. We're going to be doing an event down the road. But yes. And then Ken, the carpenter I was mentioning back there.
Ken?
Ken's back there.
Hey Ken, how are
Allison,
you?
Those are other two
So
awesome
nice
healers.
to meet you.
Okay, so we have the healing posse in the room. So you learned about your, you learned through your dreams about visions. What other visions did they give you other than your animal spirit guides?
Well, I get a lot, whether you believe or not, but I get Jesus and the Blessed Mother constantly.
Lucky.
I'm very lucky. You want to know when I first saw Jesus?
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you, it's a true story, because when I was young, I did not have faith. You're going to say, really? I did not believe in any of this. The psychicness, yes, and seeing spirit, but I didn't believe in Jesus, and if you pray, and if you're good. I really didn't, and it used to really bother my mother a lot. So I remember I'm in high school now, and I'm in study period. And I was bored to death, because school bored me. So, and I couldn't, just, you know how you kind of look at the clock and you can't wait to leave? Okay. So all of a sudden, I'm in this class, and I feel this, like someone doing this to me. And I'll never forget it. And now the board turns into Jesus, but like he was crucified on the cross. I saw, the what do you call it, the wreath, thorns, and blood, but he looked so disappointed. And he looked so sad, and I don't think he was sad because of that. He was, so it really bothered me. Now, my head was literally, I could not move it. I tried, and it was like a force, did not make, okay. So he wanted me to see him up there. And then all of a sudden, it turned into the blackboard, and he was gone.
Wow.
Now, I had gone to a Lutheran high school back in the day. And I was very close to my counselor. And for a couple of days it was plaguing me because I was wondering, why would I see him like that? And he gave me the best advice I'll never forget. Because he knew that my faith wasn't that strong. And he says, maybe he was disappointed and all your frustration was on his face. He was wearing what you were going through.
So he was reflecting back to you your frustration. Got it.
And I never forgot that. And I said, oh my God. I said, so what does this mean? He goes, I think you have to find yourself, Susan. Now, I was only 15, 16 at this time. He goes, but this is your work. This is something that you're going to have to really kind of zero in and be true to yourself and figure out, number one, how incredibly lucky you are to be with Jesus. Come on, think about it, he said. But at the same time, he gave you a gift of looking in yourself to what you needed to search for. And I'll never forget that. So, and then as I got older, interesting enough, he would come to me more and more and more and more. He comes to me when I find missing people. Now, you know, when I get private investigators in my office, and I get a lot of them, okay, they want to know, where is this one, where's that, we've got a hunch on this, we got a lead, that, yeah. And they'll bring blueprints, they'll bring pictures. It's kind of like when you see SUV. They got everything, you got to pin it all up there, and it's like a little, you know, I don't know, blueprint. But I go home and I think about it. And do you know, he always comes through and he leads me into the direction of where I'm supposed to find him. I'm not kidding.
That's great.
Yeah.
So then, is your belief system that the Christ consciousness is kind of the be-all, end-all? And what about those who've never even heard of Jesus Christ? Like, what are your beliefs for our global picture on the millions of people that think that others who don't believe in Jesus are going straight to the inferno?
Oh, I don't believe in that at all. Oh, right. Heavens, no.
Yeah.
No,
right.
There's no hell for that. No, no. You don't have to believe.
Right.
You don't.
Right.
But I do believe healers come in all shapes and sizes.
Right.
It doesn't matter what religious belief and background you come from. That does not make any difference. Okay, they're here for a specific purpose to maybe lead you into something else. So I don't know why it's Jesus for me. I don't know why it's the Blessed Mother. I don't know.
Yeah.
But, you know, really, I just think that they come, and they come for different reasons. Jesus just helps me. I think what the biggest gift he gave me was finding a belief within myself.
Got it.
That was the best gift that he could ever give me.
So other than cleaning your space, right, going to your cleaner once a month, we should all go through the car wash, by the way, and get our own cleaner, if not once a month, once a week. I know some people who need to do it once a day, but that's a separate, and truly, we sage our space now every day. I'm getting more into the habit of that because of all the people. If anybody even just comes over for a visit, you should clean your space.
I do it 3 hours before I have company and immediately after they leave.
Right. And it's sage. You say that sage is the soap?
White sage.
And Palo Santo is the lotion.
That's right. Because Palo Santo's nice and sweet and it puts everything nice in there.
Right.
So I think you should do that. I think, you know, I always say, do the inside of your car.
Right.
It isn't just your home.
Right.
You know, do your children's bicycles. Do your husband's motorcycle. You know, you need to do everything that people use on a daily basis.
Right.
You know, if you have a coat, sage your coat. You know, people right away say, "Oh, it stinks." Well, yeah, it does, but look at it's got too much power. It's more of a pro than a con to me.
Right. You smell like weed, but you're free of dark energy, so it's all good.
It is great. So I do that, and I also have a wonderful friend of mine who is an Italian lady. And, you know, I don't know if you've heard of this, but the Italians call it the malocchio. Greek people call it the mati. Okay, what does that mean? Mati, malocchio, evil eye. Now, do you believe in the evil eye? Absolutely. Evil eye is negative energy. It's plain and simple. You know, people say, do you believe in curses? No, I do not. But I do believe that they could have something that's much strong and it wasn't good. And
What's
it's
the
an
difference
attachment.
then? I think that's a curse.
I don't think it's a curse. I
Okay.
don't. I mean, you know, that's me.
Yeah.
I don't.
But you know, you believe in the power of the evil eye.
I think that it can be lifted, okay?
Right.
Okay, a lot of times people think once they're cursed, that's it. They're walking in doom and gloom, and it's never going to be lifted. That's why I don't like the word curse. Because, see, right away, your mind thinks, oh no, I'm cursed, I can't. Nothing's ever going to be good.
Right.
Not true.
Right.
You have terrible, terrible energy, an attachment. Can it be lifted? Yes. Yes, it can. Okay, so she works on me. It's wonderful. She does it with oil and the bubbles, and the bigger the bubbles, and then she says the prayer, And I'm going to tell you, whether you believe it or not, it works. I've had it so bad where I've had 103 fever, and I'm burning up. My body is physically ill. And bam, snap, gone.
Wow.
So you do these things, but I do believe in that because I think that there are so many powers of be and so much strength out there, and some people are stronger than you, and if you're just this sweet, sweet soul and you don't know how to protect yourself, they can do it. Look, I do a lot of paranormal activities with houses and businesses, okay? I do this all the time.
What's the craziest, weirdest thing you've seen? Walls bleeding, cats throwing, what?
Walls crying.
Walls crying.
Yeah, walls crying. So
Okay.
there is energy in a building, and it's sad because when they say, does a home or a business have energy? You betcha. Very, very much so. It can make you sick the longer you stay in it. And sometimes I can't, I'm going to tell you, I do a lot of it. Can I get spirit to cross? Yes. But if it's on a demonic level, it's a little bit different story.
Time to move.
Time to move. And here's the sad part. Who do you sell it to? The poor next family is going to come through, and there's no peace in this house. So is this true? Can this exist? You betcha. So when you see things like The Conjuring or Amityville Horror, yes, absolutely it exists. But yes, I've had some bad energy. I've had a lot of mob crimes, okay, and I've been in there, and that hasn't been great.
Right.
Okay, so you've got a lot of that, and a lot of times you've got a lot of earthbound spirits that have not crossed. Now think about that. Think about, say, the mob guys, okay? Because I've done a lot of those people. They're Catholic. So let's face it, Bible, you're not a nice person, you're going to burn in hell and all of those things. Well, you get that light when it comes for you, and I always say you get the light from 72 hours from your cremation memorial or your funeral. I know because I see it. I can tell who just passed and how much time they have by the longevity of how much light is left. Okay?
So if they miss the window, then what? They gotta wait till the next full moon? No.
They're earthbound.
They're earthbound until Susan shows up with all of her tools.
It's true.
Sorry, Uncle Sal.
Yeah, you got to get them across.
Okay.
Or I say this to people, and because I truly like to teach people, if you could do it yourself,
Right.
I don't want to hold all the secrets. I'm going to tell you. That's why I do all the YouTube with
Right.
Travis, and I love Travis. But what I always tell people is, if you feel you have an earthbound spirit and just does not know its way back, tell them there is no punishment. Always start out with saying that. Okay, because they're afraid. They don't know.
Right.
All right, and then you need to say, go to the nearest funeral home, tap into somebody else's light. It's really a beautiful thing. The light is not exclusive for you. So if somebody else just passed and you've got this beam of light, they can tap in and go in there.
They hit you right.
Free ride, yeah.
That's right. They hit you right.
Yeah.
All right, so
Yeah.
clear the space, go to a cleaner.
Yeah.
Go to the nearest funeral home if you didn't make it into the light. What else should people do every day? What is some of your spiritual practice when you wake up? I know what you do in the shower, but what do you suggest to this room to help empower them to tap into their intuition?
Interesting enough, what I love about every day is a new day. So whatever has happened yesterday, let it go. Start your day. It's no different if I have a married couple and somebody cheated, okay, and they're here to see me thinking, what's the longevity of their relationship, their marriage? I say this all the time. The minute you've decided, okay, to make this work, yesterday does not count anymore. But if you're going to go back to that, that doesn't have a shot in hell, as they say. And I'm going to say that. So if you agree that you're going to really try, then all things from the past, you have to think, today's a new day, I've really got to do this. Because if you're going to go back to that, forget it. So whatever happened yesterday, I don't care what it is, you had a bad day, that was yesterday. Another thing I always tell people, before you get mad, before you get angry, before you start losing it, and I'm guilty of it because I'm a Greek person and I'm very emotional, okay? I'm human, let me tell you. But the first thing I've started now to do, probably in the last 2 years, is when I'm really losing it, I say to myself, Suze, is this going to matter in 5 minutes? Is it going to matter in a day or a week? And the answer is no. And it's like, whew, okay, I feel better now. So I kind of stopped that level from getting so bad and bringing all that negative to you. So those are the things you have to think about. So you can do your own clearing by how you visualize what you think or how you're going to react to something.
Right.
And I tell that to people all the time. Think. It's free will how you're going to respond to it.
We cannot control what happens to us, but
No.
we can control how we react to what happens to us.
Absolutely.
Over and over and over again. And if we choose to go backwards, we're actually leaning back, we're off balance. And if we worry about the future, then we're leaning forward and we're off balance. All we have is right now.
But when you do this little trick saying, is it going to matter in 5 minutes? Or a day or a
Right.
week? Man, it puts you in, it really aligns you. It just does.
And then also what I do now, thanks to
Yeah.
Ken, is imagine the roles being reversed. And can you imagine that these roles were reversed, and then can you forgive both people unconditionally with love, forget unconditionally with love, as he says, then you can move on. I mean, you have to forgive all parties until you stop holding the grudge.
There's so many people that they are living in their own prison, they don't even realize it.
Right.
That's all it is. But it's shifting your thoughts. But this is why I so respect what you're doing, because you're teaching people on so many different levels from so many different gifted people in what may work for them.
Right.
And here's another thing. I always say this. You know, you can meet a lot of people. You're not going to connect to everybody. That doesn't mean these people are not nice. If you're not feeling it, honor what is speaking to you.
Right.
So many times we try to do everything or we get mishmash. Don't. Really lead. If something's pulling you like a magnet to come to this person or to listen to the other person, please honor that.
Right. I tell people a lot, they ask me, Jan, I need a good psychic. I'm like, actually, I think you need a therapist, but that's a totally different story. But I'm saying you can work together. But people just want the quick fix. They want to take a pill. They want to just have it be finished. And so I tell people to go to these 4 different websites and see what calls them, what draws them.
Right.
And if you don't have a website, like, meditate on this name, meditate on these people, and see which one you feel like connecting to, and then have a conversation with them and be discerning. I mean, there was this one psychic, I don't want to throw anyone under the bus, but he came so highly recommended that I was like, okay, great. Let's do it. And so we did an event one time and it was one and done. I just couldn't stand the ego that this person had.
Yeah.
You know, but then there are other people I've done events with over and over and over again. But this person came so highly recommended. That person, they have a great rapport. She uses that person all the time. And great. I'm so glad she's found someone she loves. But it just wasn't a match for me. And that's how we all have to be in our intuitive guidance and whoever we go with. We have to be, mix it up. Try all different things.
I
like
think
you
should, but there's different aspects. It isn't just psychics. There are healers.
Yeah.
There's Reiki. Some people actually get really good vibes when somebody's working on their body that way.
Right.
There's all kinds. I say don't say no to anything,
Right.
but really dive in and think. Remember when I said when you're praying, be still and see what prayer brings you back? It's the same thing with people. Don't try to figure it out. See what universe is trying to tell you. And this is so often people don't do. And this is when they get all screwed up.
Right.
Okay? And then this is where the anxiety, and they'll say, okay, what's the difference between anxiety and being intuitive? Intuitive is just going to be a message that's just going to go bam. Okay?
Right. It's the bird in front of your car.
That's it.
That's what I always say. It's like flies in front of the windshield. Don't even think about it.
It was funny. Yesterday I was coming home, and all of a sudden there was a client of mine, and I like her and her mother, and I see them maybe about twice a year. Okay, not a whole lot, but they're nice people, and I've done even clearing on their homes and the whole bit. She came out of the blue to my head. Now,
You haven't thought of that person in a while. Yeah,
no. You know how many clients I've met? I don't have time, but I'm just like, wow. Okay, something's going on. Now that was yesterday, right? This morning I get an email. Susan, I'm done. I need your help. I'm ready. Please email me. I knew exactly what that meant.
Okay.
There you go.
You got the flair.
Sure did.
Okay.
Out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere.
That's a message right there. Direct message.
Perfect.
Now, if you're thinking and you're thinking and you're thinking, you are exhausting it. That is not being intuitive. And then I laugh when sometimes you'll you'll try to talk yourself into the answer you want to hear or you want to feel. Don't do that.
That's not intuition. When you're convincing yourself, that's the ego getting involved. Like, I really want the brown thing.
I know.
Not the
I know.
Yeah.
Very true. So yes.